And so again, one of the guys that you're talking about in this equation, Pablo Sandoval, is a guy whose stock we've seen continue to rise through the postseason. Again, with all of these contract talks, and these were things that we admittedly talked about on some of our first trip to the mounds this season. We're looking at the possibility of, are the Giants offering too much for him at that point because of where he started? Now where he's ending is, you're going to be like, well, how big is the offer going to be for Pablo? Because it's in that position where he's showing his true value to what a winning team needs as far as, postseason production, not only on the offensive side, but at the third bag as well.
And so the question is, do the Giants replace him? I think you have to start with, the way a championship team is thinking right out of the chute, like I described in my little my little blog that I put out there on Facebook, trying to describe it, just in one paragraph. But basically what I was trying to say was that, the teams start with, are we going to try to improve somewhere? We're going to try to win, and do we have that kind of a team? And if the answer is yes, then, they look at these things. So in my opinion, if you're going to try to replace or not sign Pablo Sandoval, then you have to, look out there and see what's out there that you're going to replace him with in order to maintain your level of a championship caliber team. And that's why I mentioned Evan Longoria in my little memo.
It's kind of an example of if you're going to
exactly,
replace
because I couldn't think of too many guys really that I would really put in that kind of position. To me, Longoria is that kind of a guy. He's a clutch hitter, a great defensive player, and he's been on that stage before, so he can perform. So that would be a guy that, if you're going to do it, that's the kind of guy, and maybe the only guy I can think of right now that I would go after. But my big point was that the Giants have somebody that's kind of special, and that they what I mean basically is that you could look beyond just his playing time with the Giants and kind of put Sandoval in a role past his career where he's involved in Latin America and so forth, and put him in a lifetime contract, cut the expenses down, and pay him over a longer period of time where it's not the big dollars that that you would kind of behind a smoke screen think he's getting or he's not getting.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's actually even attached to how Albert Pujols' contract is set up with the Angels. It runs beyond his playing years. Within that, he's going to do public relations on various means for him.
Yeah.
And Pablo's obviously one of those guys that's entrenched to this Giants fan base. I mean, again, everything that he does in the postseason just justifies it. I mean, again, last night we asked this question a little bit earlier as to who's the surprise guy going to be? Who's that surprise guy that's going to come out and display the power? Last night it was Juan Perez. And again, point being is that this is the thing that solidifies you with the fan base. Moreover, Pablo Sandoval is a guy that 3 championship runs over has been the guy showing it that when the game gets tight, his bat lights up. I mean, his focus zeroes in. And moreover, when you're talking about getting a guy like Evan Longoria to replace him, the thing about it is that you're either going to have to pay him as much, if not more, to get him, or what the amount of what you're going to have to trade prospects-wise in order to bring somebody over that's under contract like that. And then point being, you may just be better off signing him as it is, or under the suggestion that you're making with this type of lifetime thing.
I'm sticking to my guns on that. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. I mean, here's a guy what if they win 3 championships? He pins that right here, and now he's this enormous figure in Latin America, which is is more and more every day, every year. It's getting more and more important to have a bigger presence down there, and to keep developing players down there and so forth and so on. And so he's the perfect guy that fits that role.
Yeah.
And
well, and it's the same way that the Boston Red Sox value Big Papi David Ortiz. Is that
I would think so.
The way that they've paid him through the years, and they keep him around, is because they know not only of his postseason significance to what they mean as a winning ball club, but they know him as he's a face of Boston over the last 10 years or so. And moreover, I think the bonus thing that when the Giants look at Sandoval, and this is something you don't get with Ortiz, is that he's a great glove to boot. I mean, this is a guy that makes fantastic plays in the field.
Yep.
Even at the worst, if you got to a point where you felt like you needed to dislodge him from third base, he could do an a la Miguel Cabrera, go to first and be well off for, he's got the good hands to play over there.
He could go to first base.
Yeah, if
he really
needed.
could.
Yeah, but no, again,
but,
it's
you can't, and that's why I say it's really important. If people talk about, are they going to sign him? They better sign him, because if they don't sign him, it's going to be really tough to find a guy that can play like that and can defend like that, and not only just do that, but do it on a championship team. And there's a big difference. A big difference.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit more skill and and stuff and
a certain, I'd say, mental and emotional makeup as well, because I mean, it's something where you've talked about this. The moment becomes bigger than the player sometimes, where if guys are aware that they're in this type of position, they start to push for it. And if anything, Pablo's body language up there at the plate during the playoffs is beautiful. I mean, he's just kind of leaning back. He's very comfortable, and it looks like he lets it come to him, whereas some guys you have that are stuck in that postseason funk, a guy like what A-Rod went through, to where you keep pressing and pressing and pressing. And
that's why he's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a pitcher's nightmare to face, because he swung at a ball last night to strike out on a pitch that was almost over his head, swung at it for strike 3. And then, Shields throws him a little tiny, really good pitch, a little backdoor breaking ball that's off the plate away from him, and he reaches out there and flips that thing out there like it's no problem, And so I guarantee you, if you would talk to the people, the pitchers facing this guy, they would tell you that they're not real happy to see him come up, because you really have, it's just a crapshoot with him as far as having a game plan, what you're really going to do with him. I don't know what you would do to him.
Yeah.
Might have to go with the old Don Sutton, Bill Madlock theory, and hope that it would work out,
Which is
that's the up and away BP fastball, and hopefully they hit a 397-foot fly ball to center field, and they got it for an out.
Yep.
Stuff away's not working, and the stuff in's not working. So I went to him one day and I asked him. That's what he said. So.